Welcome. I'm so glad that you're able to be with me today. I was so impressed with the results of the upgrade of the video card on my Power Mac G5. It occurred to me perhaps we could revisit one of the least powerful Power Macs that I have, the Power Mac G4 AGP Graphics, known as the Sawtooth, from the year 2000. Now here we have an ATI Rage 128 Pro with 16 megabytes of video RAM. This is the default card. There is one in machine now. Here we have an ATI Radeon 7500 with 32 megabytes of video RAM. We're going to put this in and see what a difference that makes. And finally, we have here an ATI Radeon 9000 Pro with 64 megabytes of video RAM. I'm hoping one of these cards will help to bring that old machine forward into the 20th century. So please, stay tuned. Here we are on the Leopard desktop on my Power Mac G4 AGP Graphics, known as the Sawtooth. We'll take a look at about this Mac. 450 megahertz PowerPC G4 with 2 gigabytes of RAM. All right. Now, we're going to look here at graphics and displays. And here, as we see, the ATI Rage 128 Pro. Why it says ATY, I'm not sure, but it always does. Down here under vendor, it says ATI. All right, now, this is listed under the Dell display, but it's really a result of the graphics card. Core image says software. It should be hardware enabled. Quartz Extreme, not supported. Both of these cause problems in running Leopard. And the fact that we have only 16 megabytes of video RAM doesn't help matters. Okay, now, for a couple of tests of functionality, I think you can see just how slowly that Finder window came up. All right, chess. It will open up. And there it is. All right. You will see that, try as I might, I'm not able to move a piece. All right. Chess in Leopard is a 3D chess. It isn't going to run. So that's the first test. Now, whether this has any relationship whatsoever to the graphics card, I don't know, but one of the things I'd noticed is iWorks 09. Simply, it would install, it would open, but it would not do anything. So we're waiting for Pages to open up. This computer does teach a person patience. All right, we have a blank Pages document, but there is no insertion point. And typing some random keys generates nothing. All right, so Pages is not functional. Now, Pages in iWorks 06 is functional. Okay. Now, there's another thing that I've looked at here, and this I think has got to be related to the graphics card, and I think this will make a difference. I think we're probably all familiar with the Flurry screensaver. Now we'll notice here it actually displays pretty well here in this preview window. It's kind of slow, although there are adjustments you can make in the options for that. But let's click the test button. Okay, you can see what's happening here. Those rays are all there, but to tell you the truth, I've seen it look worse than this. There's really virtually no animation in this because it's running so very slowly. All right. And then YouTube. Now, ordinarily, in Leopard, I would have installed Leopard WebKit, which I do have installed. I would open it up. It goes to YouTube. I would navigate to one of my own videos and play it. I'm not going to do that here because I'll save you the time. Leopard's just going to crash. So the only real option becomes 10.4 Fox in what they call a Fox box, a slaved instance of 10.4 Fox that will run only YouTube. Now, what I'm going to do at this point, it will take some period of time for me to get navigated to one of my videos and get it set up so that we can actually see if it plays. So I'm going to stop the recording here while I do that, and we'll come back when and if I'm successful. Stay tuned. Okay, it's been about 7 minutes of waiting to get to this point. I managed to navigate to this video. I set the settings down so it's going to play in 240p. Obviously not the desired resolution, but it's going to give it its best chance at success. And I don't think it's going to load up any more than that, so let's give it a try. Welcome back. Once again, very good of you to take the time to join me today. You may possibly remember a video
It's
I
starting
did
to
about
settle
the
in a little
folding
bit.
home project. Well, I thought I'd do an update.
Obviously,
I've expanded my
audio is
building
pretty good.
activities a little
We'll
bit.
give it credit for that.
And I
That
joined another
generally
team.
these things will
Started
play
out
with the
with a large
audio
tech
going
tips team.
fairly well.
But Tom
Uh,
Smith at It's My Natural Color
Video right now looks completely
his
frozen.
own team. So I joined that
I
one.
think it is completely frozen.
If you've ever seen Tom's videos,
But the audio is continuing at
you
pace.
will feel like
Okay,
you know him. So you kind of feel like
so
he's a
you
friend.
can
So
get the idea here.
what I'm going to do,
I
rather
can't
than
stop
run
it.
around the house,
There it is. Finally stopped. Okay, you
I
get.
currently have 4 computers.
Come on.
We're going to take a virtual tour using screen share.
It will not stop.
So we'll be right back with that. Well, I said we were going to take a virtual tour. By that, I meant, of course,
Well,
rather than my running around
let me
the entire house doing clip after clip.
turn the sound down. Okay. Because I can't even stop it now. This is frozen. Trying to quit 10-4 Fox. All right, but you get the idea. There are obvious problems here. Will you quit now? Yes. Okay. There are clearly problems here. Depending on what you try to run on Leopard, Leopard does run. It is true, Time Machine will run in that it will create the backups, but you cannot navigate into Time Machine in order to restore a file, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. So with these issues in mind, we'll stop the recording now. I'm going to change from the 16 megabyte AGI graphics card to the 32, and let's see what kind of improvements we get. So stay tuned. Well, I have performed that upgrade, obviously with quite some success, I think. Well, obviously, let's find out. I mean, the card went in and we can see the screen. That means it's a success so far. All right, it's the same sawtooth with the same RAM, etc. Come on, system profile. Here we go. Graphics and displays. All right. ATI, finally got that right up here anyway. ATI Radeon 75,000 with 32 megabytes of video RAM. Now, Core Image still does say software. However, Quartz Extreme is now supported. So, let's repeat our tests. First of all will be chess. And I think the drawing of the window there, I think, was definitely improved. All right.
Pawn e7 to e6. Knight g8 to f6.
Okay. I haven't played chess in quite a while. I know a little bit about the game. But, hey, it does work. All right. Now, the other app that I was going to test, iWork 09, using Pages. No amount of graphics card is going to turn this into a fast computer. It's still a 21-year-old machine with a 450 megahertz processor. All right. But open our document. Well, we have a cursor. That's a step in the right direction. And type some random characters. Huh! I'll be darned. I am surprised. I had not thought that an upgrade in a graphics card was going to make that kind of difference in how a word processor behaved. But there you go. Oops. I don't want to save that. Okay, there we go. All right, so yeah, I had expected chess would work. I had not expected pages was going to work. All right, the next test is going to be screensaver. I think that preview window already looks more normal. And there you go. That is the way Flurry is supposed to look on the screen. All right then. So the last big test, and so far, this is worth it. I have not been making Time Machine backups, and on most of these older machines, I just wouldn't bother. I suppose I could for testing purposes, but there's no data on here that's that vital that I need to take up storage space to do backups on it. So, is WebKit gonna run for us? When I would open WebKit, going to YouTube, it would open this main page. But it would crash immediately after my attempting to do anything. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to stop the video right here and navigate to that same one of my videos. So stay tuned. Well, it took maybe 2 minutes to get myself to this point, which is quite good. The preloading has already gone a lot further. I did check the settings. I'll let you have a look at that. Are you going to open? There it is. All right. And we'll see here, 240 is not even an option, which I think is a good sign. All right. We're not completely loaded, but we're a good bit of the way there. Let's give it a shot.
Welcome back. Once again, very good of you to take the time to join me today. You may possibly remember a video I did about the Folding at Home project.
This is caught up.
Well, I thought I'd do an update. I've expanded my own folding activities a little bit.
Darn it, this is pretty good. I think it's dropping frames here and there.
Tom Smith at
Now it is. Okay, it's frozen now.
formed his own team. So I joined that one. If you've ever seen Tom's videos, you will feel like you know
Okay,
that.
I'm going to
So you
stop it
have
again. Pull it back. Give it a little more time. Somebody just to jump the gun there.
Welcome back. Once again. Very good. You can take
It'll
the time
always
to join
stutter
us.
some at the beginning.
You may possibly remember a video I did about the folding at home project. Well, I thought I'd do an update.
Well, this is on sync
I
now.
expanded my own folding activities a little bit, and I joined another team. I started out with the Linus Tech Tips team, but Tom Smith at
This is actually pretty
Linus
good.
Color formed his own team. So I joined that one. If you've ever seen Tom's videos, you will feel like you know him. So you kind of feel like
Okay. Yeah, I would
So
I would call this watchable.
what I'm going to do,
Now,
rather than
we couldn't take it up to
I currently have
theater
four
mode or
tools.
certainly to full screen, but I would certainly call this
We're going
watchable.
to take a virtual tour.
This is not bad at all.
So be right back with that. Well, I said we were going to take a virtual tour.
Okay.
By that, I meant
Yeah, I mean, not that the talking head portion is the most interesting part of any of my videos, but that's what gives you the best reflection as to whether the video and audio are in synchronization with one another. And they are. Now, this is not really the way I would prefer to watch YouTube, but I can certainly do it. And that's doubling the video RAM. Okay, we will quit out of Safari. Maybe. Here we go. It's still a 21-year-old computer with a 450 megahertz processor. But nonetheless, it's a 21-year-old computer where it is possible to watch YouTube. YouTube simply didn't exist when this computer was made. There may have been people who were dreaming of such a thing, but it didn't exist. All right, well, that's successful. Now, just for completion's sake with the test, I'm going to shut the machine down again, and we'll see what the 64 megabyte graphics card will do. So, stay with me. Well, we're back again, and unfortunately, in doing something like this, changing graphics cards in any one of the G4s is a much easier process than doing that in the G5. That fold down door on the side where the logic board simply comes down, opens it all up, makes it such an easy thing to work on. Well, anyway, about this Mac, more info. Graphics and displays, ATI Radeon 9000 Pro, 64 megabytes of video RAM. Core Image is still software supported, but Quartz Extreme, of course, still supported, which is a surprise. And I don't think there's going to be any spread. Well, I think the Finder window there drew itself very quickly. All right, chess.
Pawn e7 to e6. Pawn c7 to c5. Knight b8 to c6. Knight g8 to f6. pawn d7 to d6.
I kind of stumped it there. All right. I may start playing this a little bit more. When I was a kid, I used to play quite a bit. Never was all that great. All right, I work. I didn't really notice that chess played any better, but it certainly still plays. And it is slow opening up. All right. And here's our blank page. And once it gets going, works very well. Yeah, I'm still surprised that a graphics card is going to make all the difference in the world in getting a word processor to work. All right, now the screensaver. Yeah, all this stuff is working as we would have expected. I'm not noticing it work all that much better with the Radeon 9000 than I did in the Radeon 7500, but I'm sure there is a difference. Okay, now the only big test left would be YouTube. And once again, I think I'll pause the recording here and pick it up when I get to my video. Well, it took a couple of minutes again. I picked a different video. Of course, it's a little bit longer. Oh, now we're beach balling.
Welcome. I'm so glad you could take time to join me today. Recently I did a video where I performed some upgrades on my Power Mac.
Okay, let's stop it. Bring it back. Let it load again. And I've got to say, at this point, it doesn't seem to be having any easier time than it did with the
Welcome.
Radeon 7500.
I'm so glad you could take the time to join me today. Recently I did a video where
Okay, it's caught up now
I
and
performed some upgrades
everything seems to be fine.
on my Power Mac G5. I put in a 1 terabyte SSD.
Very watchable.
And I put a graphics card.
All right.
What I want to do today is to take a
It's very sensitive to mouse movement. If I start moving the mouse around in there, then it'll start to stutter. All right. How about theater mode? Okay. Huh, looks like it's loading it all again.
welcome. I'm so glad you could.
Oh, this isn't working.
Recently I did a video where
Okay,
some upgrades.
see if I can stop this.
I put in 1 terabyte SSD.
Well, I'm going to fiddle with this a little bit, see if I can get it going, and I'll be back. Okay, I spent some time there fiddling with it. What does seem to happen is that when you go into theater mode, it defaults to 720, which makes some sense actually. And the machine, even with 64 megabytes of video RAM, will not play YouTube videos at 720. At least not without an awful lot of stuttering and stopping and all in all frustrating. Now I finally managed to get it set so it's in theater mode and at 360. Let's at least see if it does play.
Welcome. I'm so glad you could take the time
Just
to
got to
join me
catch up a
today.
little bit.
Recently I did a video where I performed some upgrades on my PowerMac G5.
And this seems to be fine. Now I
including
think
1 terabyte SSD,
basically
and I upgraded graphics.
at 360p we're just as well off in the default view as in this. Although this isn't bad. And once again, it is watchable.
Please stay tuned.
All right.
All right. As part of the test phase,
Let's take ourselves out of here.
video card poured in. I've been
Okay. So, yeah, regardless, I am kind of surprised that this machine was able to deal with YouTube at all, even on the 32 megabytes. In the testing I've done so far, I'm not seeing a tremendous difference between 32 and 64. The Radeon 7500 at 32 megabytes and the Radeon 9000 at 64 megabytes. That surprises me a little bit. I thought there'd be more of a difference between those two. Still, it's a successful experiment. Now, I had never intended to leave the 64 megabyte card in this machine. I had intended to upgrade it permanently to the 32 megabyte card. So I'm going to follow through on that. That 64 megabyte card is ticketed for another project down the road a little bit, which we'll get to in due time. So I'm going to go back to 32, but nonetheless, it's a very successful experiment here, because we have found that with the right graphics card, a 21-year-old computer, this computer was released in the year 2000, the last year of the 20th century. So a 20th century computer is able to play YouTube. Not ideally able to play YouTube, but able to play it. So I think this becomes an appropriate place to wrap up this video on a successful note, I think. I hope you've enjoyed following along with this. So as always, be good to other people, be good to yourselves, and take very good and careful care in these difficult times. We will be seeing you very soon, I'm sure.